Rural Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, a bi-monthly magazine featuring articles about farming and logging with draft animal power, small-scale diversified family farming and homesteading, and other aspects of our rich rural heritage. Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com.
The prairie plowing days was started about in 2016, and I joined it a couple years later. The board of directors is Kurt Core, who owns the property here, Brad Smith and myself, and then there's a host of volunteers that make this all work. A couple years ago, we asked the Historic Construction Equipment Association if we could host a show here in Kansas. And of course, last year it was postponed because of the pandemic, but after a year and a half's worth of work, it's finally here. The group is really, some of the guys are really into the steam engines. Some of them are into the big old prairie tractors. The construction and dirt work stuff's really my interest, but well, these are, kerosene or early gasoline tractors. Okay. I don't know if you'll ever see that many Altman Taylors in one place.
Right.
And what I'll do throughout the day is I'll get back out here and I'll go slowly down the line.
Okay, and then the steamers are over here. Some things that people don't think about is there have been 2 boiler inspectors out here checking these steam engines over, working steadily for a week or more. So there's an actual steamroller.
Yeah.
That's got to be, 120 years old?
Wow. So the event includes agricultural as well as construction and excavation equipment.
Yes.
With an emphasis on construction and excavation?
Correct.
Or engines in general, I guess.
Well, I think engines in general. We're hosting the Historic Construction Equipment Association, and that's all about construction equipment. But there are some incredible ag tractors here, and these prairie tractors are, a lot of those went to the scrap drives in World War II. There's some of these, there's just a handful of them of that particular model left.
They kind of had a small window in which they were working.
Exactly, that's true. This equipment's come in from all over the country. I don't know how many, different states. There's some Clark equipment is the featured brand. We picked that largely just because I didn't know of anybody else that had ever picked that one.
Yeah.
But there's a Clark wheel loader. This scraper here was made for the military in the Vietnam War era.
Okay.
And there's, as you can see, there's stuff in their working clothes, and there's some that are, museum quality restorations. It's scattered out over about 100 acres. So
people really need to take advantage of the people movers.
And there's a number of people movers running. There's no reason for anybody to have to walk their legs off. We're doubling the width of this pond dam.
So this will be the dam building area?
This is one of them.
Okay.
This was all done by dozers. We had a number of large bulldozers, so we put them over here doing this work, and they moved a lot of dirt yesterday.
The farm show has been the leading.
I've said to other people that a lot of people today have almost a mechanical disconnect they like good roads and bridges, but they really have no idea what it takes to make them happen. And a show like this, you can see, I mean, granted this is older equipment, but you can see some of what it takes. That one's got a diesel engine, the little one's a gasoline engine.
Okay.
But they
use cables instead of...
Exactly, there's no solid connection, it's cables, so it's kind of like a pendulum swinging around out there that you have to control to make it do what you want it to do. And
really hard to learn to operate at that.
It is, and I've done some of it, but I never got to a place where I was very efficient at it.
You really have to anticipate what you're doing.
Well, it just takes a lot of time in the operator's seat.
I bet. What do you do for a living?
I'm in the sand and gravel business.
Okay.
Locally here in north central Kansas. These guys, they were actually down in the bottom of the pond.
Okay.
With that grade all dipping out that black dirt and then carrying it up with a loader and stockpiling it. So this is a truly unique piece of history. It was one of the problems with bulldozers is when you need to turn, you're pushing dirt, you need to turn, you, like in the 80s, you declutch your right track. Well, you just lost half your traction and half your power,
sure.
So your ability to push is negated. Now, in the, I don't know exactly what year, but in the late 80s or 90s, Caterpillar, with the aid of a computer, figured out how to fix that issue. And you could leave 70% power on one track and 100% on the other. Euclid did that in the 60s without a computer.
Wow.
And what they did is each track has its own engine, transmission, and torque converter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you want it to go to the right a little bit, you just throttle back that right engine a little bit and it turns, and it's a pretty incredible machine.
Wow. Demonstrates how critical they felt the problem was.
It was.
For it.
And then the other question is why nobody else picked up on it.
Yeah. Well, that's a big blade.
16 feet. Kind of a unique piece. That's actually a paving mixer. They call it a skip mixer because the thing up there in the air is a skip. It drops down on the ground. And if you can imagine a single axle truck would have the tailgate in the back, and then they'd put a second tailgate halfway up through it. So they dump the sand and the rock in there. They would back up and dump half the truck into the skip. Then they'd mix that concrete out and be pouring the concrete out the other end. And then to make the next batch, they dumped the front half of the truck in there. There were a lot of highways that were built with these units.
Wow. As opposed to today where that work is all done at the plant.
Yeah, they'd have a
cement truck comes out.
Exactly.
Wow.
Actually, this little tractor is that's an Oliver that was made by David Brown and badged as an Oliver and sold in the United States. And they only did that for 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
So there's What they tell me is back in like 1918, there were several manufacturers that set those up. Oliver, I think, was the first one, and it was a big promotional deal.
Right.
So that's what they've essentially rebuilt one of those. And Brad Smith is one of the founders of Prairie Plowing Days. Is this 50 bottom plow was his scheme, and he's put this together and rigged up this elaborate hitch to.
So it's pulled by 3 engines or more?
Yeah, I think they had 3 hooked up to it yesterday. One of them has gone, they've gone to do something else with it, but they were Caterpillar 60s, which would have been made in the late 20s or early 30s. They had 3 of them hooked up, pull on.
This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of back-to-the-land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website at www.ruralheritage.com.